The second step that we have in the process is going to be for us to select a level of significance. The level of significance is essentially the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when it's true. So there's always going to be some probability that we reject the null hypothesis when actually it is true. So the sample that we have provides information that allows us to reject this null hypothesis, which is a statement about a population parameter, right? And there is a probability that that population parameter is actually what that initial statement was, and that our sample was one of those wonky ones, right? One of those 5% or one of those 1% where the confidence interval did not span over that population mean, right? As we saw in chapter 9. So the level of significance, the higher the level of significance, is going to be a lower risk of making this error. So the higher the level of significance, the lower the risk of rejecting null when true. But also the higher the level of significance is going to result in a higher critical value, and ultimately the critical value, that's the thing that determines the difficulty of the t-test. So a higher critical value is going to make it harder for us to reject the null hypothesis by having the t-statistic be greater than the critical value. We're going to get to all this. I'm just kind of foreshadowing a little bit.
Just to double check, the level of significance is alpha, which is equivalent to like the little end tail segments visually.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We're going to get to that as well. You're 3 slides ahead of me, 4 slides ahead of me. Yeah, 100%. So this value of significance it's related to the level of confidence, right? It can be anywhere between 0 and 1. Traditionally, the levels of significance that we use 0.05 or 95% for consumer research purposes. We have 0.01 for quality assurance. We want to make sure that only 1% of all of the things that we're making have defects in them that are, over what is acceptable, right? And then for something that is very imprecise, we have something that's like 10% or a 90% level, right? 0.10 for political polling. So it is typically designated by the Greek letter alpha, which looks like a fish.